Hey everybody, hope you're all doing good. I know it's been a little bit here. Life's been pretty busy. I've been in the midst of selling a house, buying a house, building a house, moving back home, moving to my new house, moving into my new house, getting a new job, getting a new girlfriend. Life's been fun. But anyway, here we are today. Hope glad everybody could join us. I was actually able, while living at home and having just a ball, I was able to actually find a machine I've been after for a very, very, very long time. Now, fans of my channel, all 100 something of you, thank you very much, who have turned in before would have, hopefully, maybe, depending if you're here for music or computer related stuff, have watched the video on the system on the bottom here, which is the Proliant 7000. Now, there's one machine that is bigger and cooler and better than the Proliant 7000, and that's the Proliant 8000. Now, the machine on top, Compaq server old guys will know, is not actually a Proliant 8000, but it's actually an 8500, which is one model above the Proliant 8000, but it is a rack mount unit. Now, the Proliant 8000 has the same case as the below machine as the 7000, but the 8500, which is also known as 8500R, like this one, is rack mount, and it is a smaller case for rack mount unit. Now, as a result, you only have 4 front bays and not the same amount of expandability as the big, huge refrigerator, dishwasher-sized tower unit. We can definitely see the differences of size on this shot. I believe the Proliant 7000 is a 24 unit case versus the Proliant 8500 is only less than half of that size, so maybe a 12U. I'm not too sure, honestly, on the size of that, but definitely is smaller. Now, as far as weight, that surprisingly it's very similar in weight. Now, the 7000 is the only tower that I was unable to move by my own physical means. That one I had to kind of drag it across my old house to get it inside, and then I luckily had a set of casters that I put the casters on it. Now, the 8500 is a different story. That thing was impossible to move. I was able to actually take it apart when I purchased it off the fellow, which I'll get to in a minute, and load it in the back of my car in the 3 pieces that it can be taken apart into. However, it is still incredibly heavy. Not as bad as a 7000, but it is a very heavy machine. Now, how I actually got this computer was that when I was living at home, I used to work for an internet company that I lost my job at due to COVID. Thank you very much. So I didn't do too much at home. It was cold and, just hanging out with friends and, browsing for computers. So I went on to Kijiji for this one, and I type in Proliant or Compaq. So I was on, the usual Kijiji, and then I went to go look, and it was late one night, maybe 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'm in the mood to look for a search, look for computers. So I typed in Proliant, and the first search that came up, because there's nothing for sale for old computers anymore, was that machine. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I did a double take, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's an 8500, and it was listed in Bradford, which my folks live just north of Toronto. So this was about a little less than an hour drive, right around an hour drive. And I'm like, look at that, here it is. It's only an hour drive away, and I believe the gentleman only wanted $90 for it or $80. It was less than $100 that I gave him. Anyway, so I sent him a message. I said, oh, I'm real interested, whatever. I'll come down tomorrow and pick it up. Pretty much, not that I didn't sleep. I'm not that excited about it. I mean, I was very, very excited to get it, but very excited. Woke up the next day. I'd sent him a message. So I texted him. I said, yeah. He's like, oh, I'll come down here. I'll send you the I'm like, nope, I'm a serious buyer. What's your address? I'm on my way to get it. Not, I'm going to drive down there and try to text him and call. No, I said, give me your address. I'll be there to get it. So I went and got it. Picked it up. Super nice guy. Super duper killing factor. I went there and he was a Chinese guy, kind of a little bit skittish, whatever, but nice enough guy. Was there with the wife, and they had a nice little house in Bradford. And he's like, oh, I had a second one, but it didn't work. I took it to the scrap last week. I'm like, no, it had another of the exact same machines. So this machine, he actually worked in an engineering company, and I believe this would have been the server, or not a workstation machine, but a processing machine maybe, for an engineering company. Now, he wouldn't tell me which. His English wasn't the best. A super nice guy, but I was there maybe 5-10 minutes. I also bought a Dell SC something, SC400. No, it's a Lexus. Dell SC, I don't know, some model SC. I was gonna say SC430, but that's a Lexus as well. When you like your Lexus cars, an SC series Dell machine, often with dual Pentium 4s, which was kind of beat up, but I only gave him, I think, $40 or something for it. But yeah, that worked okay. I ended up taking it apart for parts and keeping the board and some pieces out of it. But anyway, so I got this machine. I got actually another RAM card for it, RAM riser, which I'll show you when I open her up. And the machine, I think I gave him only $150, not even $200 for everything. So it was pretty good. Oh, and I also got a Trinitron screen too, which I'll also put in a photo maybe of all the machines stacked up together, which works great as well. So it was an amazing haul of stuff. I was out of there for not even $200, including gas. That was before gas went super through the roof. But yeah, and it was only like about an hour from my parents' place where I was living at the time. So definitely a great pickup. The machine was in awesome shape. The best part is when I got it home, I was actually in the basement. I gave it a good clean. I was downstairs with my mom. I was just about to go to a friend's house. I said, "Here, Mom," I said, "let's fire this up. Haha, if it works on the first pull," because the 7000 was a pain to get going. I plugged this thing, slapped it together, it fired right up, first shot. So, but yeah, now I'm going to do a cut of the video and we will go through the different parts of it and how to go through it. So when it comes down to this server, the 8500R or 8500 versus the 7 or 8000, the chassis is actually a lot more simple. It's not like the gigantic 7000 that I have where it's got the 3 different panels and everything opens up and the top opens up. It's very, very simple. So basically, if we look at the front here, you will see that we have 4 SATA drives. Now, this machine is very weird how it works. It has an inboard, or onboard, I should say, smart array controller, which is very weird. Compaq actually calls it the integrated smart array controller, which is a which is a SCSI 2 controller, not Ultra 2 controller, not an Ultra 3 controller, and it's not upgradable. Now, you can put oh my god, I almost said it again. You can put an Ultra 3 card in this, but you need some sort of disabler board, which this machine doesn't have, so unfortunately, you're stuck to using the onboard Ultra 2 SCSI, which is kind of a bad design in my opinion. There's no upgradability. This whole panel here, I'm not going to open this because it's stuck with the 7000 underneath, but basically there's 2 panels. You push 2 buttons, you push these handles pop out, this folds, and the whole machine pulls out. There's a button that you click and this panel slides out. And this is your I/O panel, so it has a slimline CD-ROM here, a floppy drive, and then the 4 SCSI drives with the front panel. It's just the same front panel as the 7000's front panel, just with a bezel there. Now this here is actually the processor and RAM, kind of the heart kind of the machine. So this I'm going to remove as much as I don't want to because it's a huge pain to do it, but I got to show you for the video. So how did we do this is we're going to press the button, which this one's actually broken from when I got it. You press that, and then this is supposed to pop out here. It's a little bit stuck. There you go, like that. The other one is still intact, so we press that. I didn't do that when I got the machine. It was like that. You press these. I kind of put my thumbs like this. We pull this. Oh, you know what? I'm forgetting a key piece of this video. Inside here, there is a shipping screw, which I will show you guys in a second here. We need to remove the shipping screw to be able to open this. I will show you that in 1 second. All right, after pausing the video there, I went inside and removed the shipping screw and shut the lid again. So now with that shipping screw open, we should have done that since the start. We've removed our, whatever you call these arms here. We're going to pull this down. Please work. There we go. And then it slides just like that. And now we can slide this big unit here forward. You can hear that click. We have 2 metal pins here that we can press inwards on each side. And then this slides out all the way. And this is our processor. It is very heavy. Processor and RAM board. And I'm going to set it on top here because it weighs probably about 70 pounds. It's very heavy. So, looking at that here now, we can take a bit better look. You will see, let's not stand in the light here. Good luck. We will see 2 sets of 4 Pentium 3 Xeons, as well as the RAM riser board there, which here, there's a spare one that I got with 14 gigs of memory in it. That's correct. This is a 1999 machine with 16 gigs of RAM. And when I got this, it was fully kitted out. It was completely maxed out. Now, underneath here, we have the Profusion chipset, which is just the coolest thing ever. I'm not going to dissect this. I have photos of it, which I will dig up and make a little slideshow now as we cut into the next part of the video. Alrighty, so I've replaced the processor and RAM module there. Now, my grip rig is literally a keyboard mounted on top of a bucket on top of a chair, so this part I'm going to have to freehand. I did shut that front there, so now I will show you basically the entire inside of this machine. So if we look on the top here, we have all my favorite, all the documentation, how to access it, how to open it and everything. We also have a key that will lock this panel. So to open up the whole machine, basically, we're just going to move this guy to open. I actually thought this was a power switch, but you can hear the sound of it there. It's just a big bar. It sounds almost like a breaker panel for anybody who's opened a breaker. And we also have all of these system interconnect lights, which come in really handy to tell you what's connected. Now, a fun thing about this is that it actually doesn't really work that well, because if your front panel that I just opened with all the processors is plugged in, that will still seat and it won't light up, but then the machine won't turn on. So we'll see if I plug that back together properly. So now to open this, I'm going to try to do this with one hand. Basically, it actually, Compaq puts a nice little arrow on the side here. To move this, basically have to lift this up. Oh yeah, there, I'm already dropping it. We have to lift this up. Again, one hand, I have no grip rig. And then just, oh, look at that. I did a little bit of metal work on this machine when I first got it because it was not in the best shape. It was a little banged up. But yeah, so that slides open, and then we have our entire I/O system here. So I'm going to freehand the video, of course. We're going to go from the side so I'm not in all the light. So basically, if we look in here, we have that. Like I say, it's pretty cool, but it's not super duper impressive compared to the 7000 with its all million boards. It's basically just that huge processor board plugs into this thing and we're off to the races. So as far as cards, I have the original Compaq dual port 100 meg network card, was actually being used. And then I have a smart array. I think this is a 431. Yep, there we go, 431 smart array. And that runs off the SCSI external connector to the storage system, drive storage system, whatever you call it. Then I have a little mini gigabit network card, which was messing up the machine, but I kept it in there, whatever, it does its job. Apparently an I/O piece that's coming out. Thank you. There you go. Then there is a Sound Blaster Audigy 2, my favorite, which works in every operating system up to 7, I believe. Works awesome. And then we have a GeForce. You know what? I forget what that is, but that card will literally work in every server, and it's 256 meg of video memory, which is totally awesome because the onboard for this, I believe, is only 4 or 8. So it's a godsend to make this thing actually usable as a graphics workstation instead of just a server. Anyway, the last card we have there is a dual port, kind of covered up with all my cable management, a dual port USB, which this server was a huge pain to get working with a USB card, but there we go, we got it, it's working. I can actually transfer files with this thing now. Earlier I was talking about the board to replace if you want to run an Ultra 3 controller. That's this thing here. So this little board actually has to come out, and then we have to replace that with the board, which this doesn't have. This thing just has the basic one. It's kind of a cable that goes from that attaches. It's a weird little component, but I don't have it, so I'm stuck using the integrated smart array controller. Now we will also see a few other things. This thing lifts up here. We have full access to the, come on, let's focus. Crappy video, I apologize. Full access to the board. You can see it right there. That's where the processor drive bay thing plugs in. To shut this, I didn't figure this out. Oh, look at that, I actually did it. To shut this, we have to close this piece first and then this piece, or it wasn't shutting properly. Thank you. Moving down here, turn the video. We have our interlock again. Now, that earlier thing I was getting stuck on was the shipping screw. To access that had me wondering, because I was really curious what that was, and I heard a rattling in the machine, but I figured it out. So this actually lifts up. And then if we look in here, see that right there? Shipping screw. So I'm actually going to retighten this. See if I can actually make contact. This is a very good way to make sure that thing is actually connected in there. So there we go. Shipping screws tight again. We have two of my favorite of all time hot swap Nidec Beta V Trans Am 500 DC fans. These things will howl, and I'm pretty sure they would cut your finger off or chop a carrot if you felt so inclined to do it. I did make a blender out of one of those ones, and it spun. I used to put bolts in it. It was horrifying. But yeah, two of those big monsters, that basically cools the entire machine. And then we also have, if we look here, we have a couple more. Oh, nice dad sandals. We have our tertiary PCI bus, which I've actually replaced those PCI brackets out of a Dell server because the original ones are flat. So this should provide some better cooling. So you'll see all of the empty PCI slots. That one's got a cutout of it, so the cable can go through non-standard. You'll see these all have the hollow brackets to help with cooling. So definitely want to help out this old girl as much as I can. So we'll also see we have a triple. This is a really cool chipset to look into for all you nerdy guys like me who like this. We actually have here, if you look, oops, hold on. We have, see the primary PCI bus, secondary PCI bus, and then we actually have the tertiary, the third PCI bus, those two slots at the end, which I don't use because every time I would plug something into that, the computer would not use it or not turn on. So those, I had everything in this that I want. So that's that. I'm going to shut it. So we just slide this big panel forward. It was quite crooked when I got it, but I did end up forging it back into place. Shuts. You'll know when it shuts properly because we lock it. There we go. Now we are off to the races. So I'm going to adjust this, and we're going to fire up this machine and show you what it can do. All right, so we've got everything all plugged in now. That only took me like an hour to do. Anyway, we have the 7000 and the 8500 and the screen plugged in, and also the storage system UE. So you don't have to use a storage system with this machine. The OS runs off of the two left drives in a RAID 0 array on that. So we'll see that when the machine fires up. The storage system is just for kind of storage. So anyway, to use this, how I use it is I use a storage system. So that's plugged in with just one power supply. So we're going to fire that up first. There you go, which isn't very loud considering the fact. Now, the SCSI drives aren't actually spinning yet, so I'll show you how that works here in a second. We're going to fire up the 8500, and you'll see on that little screen on the right there on top of my receiver and tape deck, that should give us a display. Hopefully I put everything back together properly. So here we go. The button's a little different on this. It's actually a soft touch button. We press it, it blinks, and then it'll fire up. Hopefully. I'm probably going to have to talk a little louder because it can definitely get a bit loud. This machine isn't too loud. It's about the same as the 7000. It's a little different as far as terms of noise, but it's not too bad. I also have a wireless, I wish. I also have a PS2 laser mouse and PS2 keyboard plugged into the machine as well, which I can control off the bottom right there. There we go. Should see in a second our splash screen for our video. I think I may have plugged something in wrong. Let me see if I can get this going. This screen is famously stupid. Let's see here. Oh, no signal input. Surprisingly, oh, look at that. Oh, no signal input, really. So we can see here now, it's counting our RAM. We do have 16 gigs recognized. That was a huge pain to get going. I had to remove that tray that I showed you guys and reinstall it probably 25 times. A lot of fun. I like how it said that there was no display as the display showed up. Usually I'll get a splash screen. I believe that is a Pony. I call it Pony, PNY, whatever, Verto, something or other. I can't remember the name of the video card right now. I will show you that when we get into Windows. Spoiler alert, this machine isn't very impressive in Windows. It doesn't really do a whole lot of stuff. Not compared to the 7000. 7000 is a much more... There we go. So that's... shut up. That's all 8 of the processors recognized. They are Pentium 3 Xeon, 700 megahertz with the 100... megahertz frontside bus, and 2 meg of cache, which is quite impressive. That was a lot of money back in the day. There's our smart array controller, the integrated smart array, 1 logical drive, which, oh, you know what, I lied. It's actually, there's a RAID 0 across all 4 of those drives and 2 partitions. I lied! And then we'll see the smart array 431 controller, easy to miss there on the side. That is showing that there are 12 logical drives, and it's bitching about the, excuse my language, that there's only 1 power supply plugged in. Thus, I need to run over there and press F1. There we go. After pressing F1, we are actually able to boot. Now, this machine also takes a very, very long time to get into Windows, as I will show you guys here in a second. Actually, while this is booting up, I'm going to fire up the 7000. Just so we have a video of all of the machines running at once. We're going to, you know what, I'm going to pull back here. Hopefully my amazing grip rig doesn't fall off and get destroyed. I don't even know if I can get at all of this in one shot here. Let's see, I'm just about to run out of basement. Oh God, don't fall, please. This is a terrible setup. There we go. Let's see if I can focus a little bit better. Cool, and I'll show you just how long this takes to actually get into Windows, because it is slow. I don't know if it's the networking or the storage system with all the drives initiating. I am not sure. This definitely takes a not a super long amount of time. It could even be the video card. I'm not too sure. But you can see it's about halfway loaded into Windows now. You can't actually see that. That's why I said you can't see it. Now, I actually, back to the 7000, I actually built built a battery for it, which was working good, but now apparently that battery's gone dead, so I should probably take a look in there and see, make sure it didn't leak or do anything stupid, but it's just kind of an external battery that I made out of a AA with a wire, so, and it was a new battery at the time, so I don't know why it's dead, but apparently the server doesn't like it anymore, so. It was also in storage for 6 months, the better part of a year, so probably was a little bit mad at me, but it fired right up. The only thing that actually died from all of these machines was one SCSI drive in the storage system, which was an old 8 gig, so it was no big loss. But there's everything running. That's a video of everything running properly. The last drive, there it is. That's all the drives, everything running perfectly in unison, all networked together to that little PVM. Let me move up there. So that little machine on the top, that's actually a PVM computer, which is a little Core 2 Duo Mini ITX board. If you look right above the left side of the top left of the storage system, you'll see a little motherboard up there. If I can point to it, I don't know. Where's my finger? There it is. This little board up here, that's actually a little Kino board that my friend gave me, and it runs a Xeon 3060 and 3 gigs of RAM. That's actually a little screen, little computer in that PVM case, and that networks everything to the machine, which I'll show you a video of that later. But you can see now it's loaded Windows, and I am presented with this really highly concerning black screen, which I keep getting. I'm not really sure why this shows up. I get a nice black screen that lasts about a minute. I'm able to log in, and then I get about oh, there it is. And then I'll get a blue screen like this one here with the cursor that lasts about a minute as well. So I'm going to run over there now. I'm going to hit my super advanced login. Don't hack me. The password, the username is administrator, and there's no password. So I'm going to log in right now. Try not to knock everything over. So we've done our login. Now we're presented with that nice blue screen here. Not the blue screen of death, but a blue screen that's logging in. I think I'll freehand the camera, get a little bit closer. You'll see I also put some drives in here. Now I was missing the rails, so I just used cardboard. It's pretty not genuine, but it works well and it looks real nice. So I have a slot loader CD-ROM at the bottom there with one of these things that opens up, and then you can slide this piece out. That's in there. Oh, something's freaking out at me. Oh, that's the 7000. I think it restarted actually because I didn't press F1. A Colorado drive, a Ditto drive, a Yamaha SCSI CD-ROM, and then the floppy. Yeah, this must have restarted because it complains about the system battery, and you have to press F1, which I don't even have a keyboard hooked up to it right now, so it probably was just pissed off. Actually, here, we'll shut this guy off. Might as well save my poor fuse panel. Here's this. You can see the alert screen. It's one. So this actually has dual 1050 watt power supplies. It has a lot of power. Subsystem error. That has to do with the power supply not plugged in for the storage array. See our drives rocking out. So this is actually, all 4 drives are on a RAID 0 with 2 partitions. I thought I had one set up I thought I had these two as a drive and these two as a drive, but I'm wrong. That's only one drive with two partitions, so that's the ultimate speed. Those have been upgraded to SCSI Ultra 3 drives, but the performance is a bit better than a normal hard drive, so it's worth it, I guess. You can see here our drives are all working nicely, but yet our login screen is still on that nice blue with the mouse. It takes a long time to log in. It's quite annoying. I actually thought there was an issue with something, but that only showed up when I started using this with all the drives, so I believe it just has something to do with the drives. If this is shut off, the machine will boot up in about a minute or so. Not too long. It will boot. It just takes its sweet time to do it. I don't really know why. But I'm going to stop the video here now, and I will come back and I will show you just this machine in Windows. Alright, so we are back with an even wackier setup. So, I'm going to try to control this off of the side here. Upon boot up, you will see that we have that nice menu in regards to, okay, apparently this doesn't really work on concrete. Awesome. So we have that menu that shows up. That just has to do with the, what do you call it there, with the network, the Ethernet not plugged in. Now we have our 3 adapters here. You'll see that there is link fault with it because the PVM machine isn't on. But regardless, that doesn't really matter. So going through this machine here, we don't really have a lot of super advanced things like the 7000. We will go through it together though. I will show it to you. We'll start with a disk menu here just because we have so many different disks. I need to kind of shrink this down because we are not working fully in the screen. Let me see, where's the top of it? Oh, that's hiked down quite a bit. Let me try to fix this here. Can't tell if that's in frame all the way, but we'll work with it. That's what we got. So this is our disk management screen, of course, so we can see all of the drives here. So basically the disks that are PL8000, those are the storage system array drives, so we have all 12 of those showing up. Then at the top here we have the PL8000, Proliant 8000 OS, and that's the 2 different partitions, which I thought were set up as 2 drives, but those are different partitions. You can see, actually no, look at that, look how dumb. Disk 0, 1 disk. 136 gigs over 4 different SCSIs. If we go into our system, we can check out our system properties here. So we are greeted with the x86 family 6 model 6 stepping with our 16 gigs of RAM. I am using PAE on this machine. It is pretty cool. It works good. Again, I had to reinstall the RAM a whole ton of times to get it to work, but hey, it works. We'll open up the Zeiss manager here. You can see we have, here is our video card to start. Sorry, here's our disk drive to start. So you see all of our Compaq SCSI array drives. So we have a GeForce FX 5200. This device is working properly. The only card that I got to work in this machine, that card is very, very good. It works in everything, including the Dells, which nothing works in the Dells. And there's our Rage 2 PCI piece of junk, which is disabled. Goodbye. We have our CD-ROM drive, the Compaq Slimline floppy disk, controllers, keyboard, mice, our network adapters. So we have our Compaq drivers here, 1 and 2. And then there's our Intel Pro 100. Oh, that's only 100 meg, not gigabit. I lied. The WAN mini port, whatever, all that stuff I tried to do. Our audio controller, that's actually our sound card. I haven't installed that yet. Here's our SCSI, the integrated smart array controller I was mentioning before, and the smart array controller, the 431. That's our sound controller, but again, our sound blaster isn't in there. This thing gives me an error, I'm not really sure why. And then at the bottom we have our USB, our Opti dual port root hub, which is awesome on these machines. So I'll also show you the video card. It's nice, we get all of our awesome settings. I'm using this 1024/768 screen, true color, 75 Hertz, and it is a 256 meg GeForce FX 5200. Works super, super, super awesome. Now, a very interesting thing with this, now I do have DirectX and whatever installed on it. All our 3D works. Actually, I can show you. Check this out, the frames per second we can get in this. 3D text OpenGL. This might say something very offensive, so I'm going to change it. Apparently we can't change it. Oh, the text was just OpenGL anyway. Whoa, check that out. 3D maze. Let's move this so you can actually see. 3D text. Take a look at this. Okay, 3D text doesn't like it. What about 3D flying objects? Oh, hold on. Whoa, there we go. Look at that. What about 3D flying? Oh, look how fast this is. That's crazy. That card works very good in this server. Don't forget, we also have 8 Pentium 3 Xeon processors. Let's cancel that out here. I'm going to show you while that's loading, because we have ultimate multi-processing power. We have, if we go, I don't know, for some reason it likes to do this with the menu too. It's really annoying. We have, basically, if we go in here, we have our Insight Manager, which doesn't really work too well on this. I was trying to get it set up with, oh, let's see. You know what? Look at that. The same thing as the 7000 when I did that. Look at that. Now it works. When I made the video with the 7000, it wasn't working. Then it magically worked. Now this was the same thing. This was never working, and now it works again. Look at that. So anyway, here we are with this. We're going to go through this together. This is working. It's like whenever I take a video of these things, they miraculously work in the Insight Manager. Anyway, configuration, we can see this here, 8500. Tells us about, okay, let's just scroll down here. I'm glad this is working again. I'm gonna nerd out because we can see, oh yeah, there they are. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold on. Oh, I scrolled so much, look at that. We can't even go in here. Look at this. Socket 5, hold on. What? Why are you scrolling the wrong way? They're not even in order, what the hell? There's 8 of them. There's socket 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm sorry, I'm going backwards. 8, right there. Socket 8, we have 8 Pentium 3 Xeons. This machine is awesome, it is quick. There's our total memory, 16 gigs there. Tells us about our things that are plugged in, our 16 1 gig sticks of RAM. Our name of the thing. Here's our storage. Oh, here we go, look at this. This actually, look at that, it actually gives us our little icon here about the side storage device. So this is all of our storage thing. I like this, with the drive names with their size. Security, which is all disabled. Recovery, I'm not really sure what this does. Oh, those are all our errors. Awesome. Actually, I'm curious to see this. Oh, that's just with the subsystem and whatnots. Recover. Oh, this is expansion board. Oh, these are all the IRQs and everything. Oh no, this tells, yeah, ETI Rage 2. Oh, yeah, look at that. That tells us all of our connected devices there. All info. That's gonna be massive. Recovery. Let's do system board. Oh, here we go. Look at this CPU. Look at this. We can select it. 6, 5. Apparently, we can only select 4 CPUs on there. Here's our info on our board. Hours in service 0. Correctable memory lagging. I like how we only get 4 CPUs. It didn't even think this must have been made before the 8 CPU machines came out. That's funny. Expansion boards we can see here. It gives us all of our information. This machine also has hot plug. I didn't mention that, but it's terrifying and I'm not sticking my hand in it when it's running to try that. Here's our utilization. Again, we can see all 8 processors. Next to nothing used up. Apparently it really likes this one. That one gets everything. We right click. Graph. Wow. Amazing. Our network card, which is going to bitch at us because we have not plugged in it. Here's our mass storage again. Okay, here, file system space used. That's a nice little rundown there. What's this? EIDE. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's a CD-ROM. Okay, thanks. Still good to know. But that's about it, I guess, for this guide. Even because I want to actually rip the software and pull out these little icons. I really like them. But yeah, that's working. I'm glad with that because that was not working before. So we have that. Thank you for using Compaq Instant Manager. Yeah, thank you, Compaq, for having a product that's actually really cool. Now, something that doesn't work on this, which if it works, I'm gonna like throw my phone out the window, is this one, array configuration, which, yeah, there it goes. It doesn't work. Cannot detect any array controllers in the system. I don't know why this is. This was a huge pain in the butt because that stupid storage system was not working right, so I had to get all the drives set up and configured. I had to do it through the BIOS. That was a pain. That was a real big piss off with this machine. Was that not working? We also have the display utility. This is the same as the 7000. The management log viewer, which is a management log, big deal. The legacy port, which doesn't do much. Power down manager and power supply viewer, which we can view. Now, the power down manager doesn't do anything because this is actually an ACPI machine, so it doesn't let us do anything. We can change our front panel, but that's not very involved with that. That's the same as the 7000 one. So here's our machine, our power supply. So this is telling us about the power. So we're actually using 78% of the power. It's using quite a bit of it. You can see that the one is unplugged. The other one is normal. So the capacity is on this, it says 470, but I believe this was actually a 1050 watt unit, unless I'm mistaken. Or maybe that's with a higher power voltage line. I'm not too sure. I'm actually glad if it's only a 470, so I'm not melting all my outlets in my house. My new house, thank you. So that's that. And that's really about it for this machine. Everything works on it real nice. One thing that I am going to do is we're going to actually run performance tests. And I might have to pause the video here because I don't know if that's installed, but here it is here. So let's go ahead and install this. This is performance test. We're going to do a performance test 8 on this machine. Video of it, and we're going to get the true performance out of this machine. Hopefully everything works. I did run this once before, and it did give me a rundown on it, so it should work. I thought I had it installed, but I don't know where it went. Maybe I redid the operating system. I think I did. I can't really remember, but... Oh, thanks. Well, that's awesome. Apparently it's not a Windows application. Thanks. Stupid thing. All right, I'm going to get performance test 7 installed. I think that's what I ran. And we're... Oh, hold on. What's this here? Is this it? No, that's the one I just ran. We're going to get performance test 7 installed on this, and we're going to run it. Be right back. Alright, so we're back. I spent a ridiculous amount of time finding this, and yeah, I know, that gives me this error, which is really annoying, but you know what, we're just going to not listen to that. So apparently it runs without it. Oh, yes! Let's just close this. Or should we leave it open? Okay. Some stupid error. These guys can't make a program, I swear to God. But it did last. Aha, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna run this and see what it does here. Ooh, okay, it sees my video card. Oh, look at this. I guess this one doesn't have the 3D Pentium 3 class. Number of CPUs, 8. Okay, yeah, so it is seeing it. Memory, 16 gigs. Hard disk CD drive. Now, I don't really know. It doesn't even tell us anything. Let's run this benchmark and see. I'm curious if this is going to be a comparable score to newer versions of Fastmark. I mean, that's why I'm doing it. I mean, I want to say I hope so we'll see. I will also compare these scores to another one. Now, I did also run this test on when I had Windows Server 2003 on this machine. Just taking a look now, it looks like it's only using 25% of the CPU, 27% of the CPU. Doesn't look like it's really using it. That's what I was worried. Okay, 33 now. Find prime numbers. I'm curious to see what my usage is going to be on this. 46 now. Okay, and we're on 2D. So that was just from my little CPU gauge on front of the machine, which I believe actually will tell me the right usage of the CPU. Now it's at 56. Because like I say, this is an 8-processor machine with a very interesting chipset, so I don't know if it's really actually going to use all of the CPU power. I'm not 100% sure on that. Oh yikes, that's not exactly the most powerful machine, that's for sure. I did also plug in both power supplies, so we have some extra juice just in case it starts to stress it out. I don't want to blow anything up, so. Now this is most likely limited by the video card because the CPU I'm only showing 20, not even 30% now, 20%. The memory's at 2. I just want to add while this is running that this was such a huge pain in the butt to find this software that ran on this machine. You know, you think a company that designs software would, like, you know, have a download for it. That's a Miata. I always wondered what that was. I knew it was a Miata. This video card runs it so slow I can actually see it up close. Woo. You know what? This fonts and text isn't bad. I have machines that run this a lot slower, that are newer. What's fun too is that I believe this software gives me a comparison to a Core 2 Duo and a Pentium 4 machine as well, just taking a look through it. I'm interested to see how this is going to turn out. That poor Jaguar is looking a little bit kind of wacky for the picture. That's very quick. That was real fast. That's not that bad either. I mean, that was moving pretty good. This card is decent. I mean, given the onboard video, what it is, like that's, like I say, that's 90 frame per second on that, and the CPU's only at 14%, so it's moving pretty good. I mean, this would have no problem playing 3D games. I don't think I've ever ran this version of the software either, so it's kind of nice to see. Oh, I recognize this. This is an older version of that. Look at that, 20 FPS on that. I'm probably going to cut this video up a little bit too. That didn't take long. Didn't even get all the way around. That's all you get. Here comes the big... This is going to be DirectX 9, I think. Oh, gosh. Yeah, 5 frames per second. Yeah, look at that. Ultimate gaming performance. It's not even in the freaking video. Let me wedge a screwdriver in there. Make this a bit better. Got to be able to see the FPS counter. There we go. Okay, now we're on our memory tests. That was real quick. Large RAM. And now we're on our disk test. This is actually pretty fast, this test. I'm really curious what this is going to get against other machines. Like I say, I'm curious really for the CPU, because it was only using about, like I say, what did I say there, around 50%, I don't even think, so we're going to see now, like I say. And again, this test is, oh, there we go. Well, judging by the gauge, it maxes out the gauge, so I don't know if that's really good or it doesn't really matter. I guess we'll see. I'm curious. I mean, that's showing 29 megs a second, which is like nothing compared to, you know, a modern disk, but don't forget, this machine is also built in 1999, so... I can hear the scuzzies, they're really clicking away now. That's okay, we don't need a CD. Should be just about done here now. Wow, there we go, 295. All right, so let's look through here. So judging by this complete result, this looks for relatively very good. I wanted to compare this with other results. I think there's other results in the machine here. We'll take a look. CPU. See, I'm curious for CPU because this gives us, okay, 1269.8. So if that's compared to like a Core 2 Duo machine, will get 3000 overclocked. So this is about half of that. It's Core 2. No, I don't know if that's really right, because I don't think it's using all of the CPU power. The 2D, the 3D, okay. Memory 112, disk mark. Yeah, like I said, let's see, compare it to, okay, let's compare it to what's something that's going to be, here we go, XW8200. This is dual Pentium 4s. Let's compare it to this. Okay, here we go. So, oh yeah, this look at this, it's got 600. So my guy here gets 300 CPU. So look at that. So this, what's the CPU mark? Let's see. I'm curious, I don't know what CPUs this is running. Dual Xeon 3399 BL5, but I don't know what the hell that is. I'm not, let's take a look through this. Oops. 2D graphics, but it doesn't tell me what it's using. because the Xeon machine beats it in basically everything, but I don't really know what's... Well, I know what 8200 what's using. It's using DDR2, which is a lot newer. But I'm curious for the CPU mark, because I actually beat the dual Xeons. That would be dual Pentium 4 Xeons in that, depending on what it's using. Let's see. Obviously, like the CPU, because this is a PCI video card. It doesn't tell me what it uses. Let's see. Let's go back to compare. How do we do this? Okay, so this, yeah, that's dual Xeon 3.4s in that. Okay, so let's compare it now to a Core 2 Duo. This is the 8500 P5K. I know those. I had one of those machines. Let's compare it to this. And we'll go to CPU. So, oh yeah, you can see that the oh, you know, some things are pretty close. Don't forget that machine is much newer as well. So CPU mark is, like I said, about 60% better. Let's also compare it with, let's see, that's a crappier Core 2 Duo. Let's compare it with a Athlon 64 dual core. Let's compare it to that. Again, pretty good, but it's about on par with the Athlon 64 dual core machine. But then again, I don't really think that's accurate for the CPU score. I want to think that it would do better. Yeah. No, I just want to run the CPU benchmark. Is that a thing that I can do, or let's do this again. What actually I'm going to do while I have this running is open up the, what do you call it there, that Insight Manager, and see the Insight Manager. Let's do that, because right now I'm only showing 27 on the CPU. I think it might only be using 2 or 4 of the CPUs, to be honest. I don't think it's using all 8, because the most I'm getting is not even half of the usage. Let's open up the Insight Manager. So we're gonna go to I don't even know, utilization. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Except I can't. You know what? I don't think. Hold on. Let's see something here. Ah, look at that. So we have that. That's all 8 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? We're gonna. Okay, you can go away. Thank you for not helping. So we're gonna have this open, and we're gonna run the CPU mark, and I'm gonna make these nice and big so we can see them here. Okay, so let's run CPU mark again, because I don't think we're getting... Thank you. You had your purpose. It was not that. I don't think... Let's see. Let's run this again. We're going to get to the bottom of it. Hello? Oh my god! You really have to do that. Like, I don't know why it just doesn't have a big freaking button that says run. There it is there. Okay, that's where it is at the top. Sorry. Let's try that again. Here's that. Enter memory. Okay. Tests, CPU, all. You're going to see what it's really using. Okay, there we go. Now it's running. Okay. So we're using, let's see here. Oh yeah, you know what? Look at that. It looks like it looked like it was using it there. Let's see. So this, yeah, look at that. That's actually working. It's using the CPU, but the Proliant gauge is off. It's only showing 14% usage on this, even though it's definitely using this, reporting it in Windows. It is rocking and rolling, and it does that test real quick. So it's definitely using all the CPU. Okay, we can see that. So that's an accurate score then of what it's doing. There we go. That's the usage. So we are about on par with an Athlon 64 dual core. There we go. Let's do another comparison while we're here. So we're just about to end the video. Generic AMD Phenom. Okay. Well, here we can just see the rating. What did mine get? It didn't even say what I got. Hold on. What did I get here for CPU? CPU mark I got I got 1280, 1279.9, 1280. So, comparison, 1280. So you know what? It actually, hold on, where's CPU? We're not even here. Or is this CPU here? So it actually it beats all these? The Phenom and the Core 226. But then when I go to CPU, it doesn't even say that. Let me just click on Athlon X2 5600. And this says 728, unless this is for the actual machine. Yeah, it's for the actual machine. Why would it not show me the CPU mark? 1279. So it's about equal to Athlon X2. Interesting. It's also a system that's how many years newer? 8 years comes a long way. Okay, so yeah, it's about on par with this. Okay. Cool. All right, so that's that. We were able to do a nice benchmark test. Now we are going to power down the machine. Now, one thing you'll notice with this is that if we go to power off the unit, we just are greeted with a nice beep. It says, removable storage manager won't let you do that. So, oh, look at that. We're just about out of batteries on my phone. So, we're going to go here, old-fashioned, and shut down the machine. So this is a quick little video on the terminal machine, which is actually a Panasonic, I believe. Sorry. Yes, Panasonic. Right there. It says it, not that I could remember. TR930CB PVM video monitor box. However, when I got it, the tube was shot, so I gutted it. It has a little motherboard, which is actually a Keynote 9454 board, which is the exact same as this one, which this one doesn't actually work. For some reason, you can't install Windows on it, so I scratched the socket and put it up on my wall with my other little weird things. So that's in there. It has a very, very small, I believe it's called a Neewer little 8-inch panel in there. And then this guy here, like I say, we can go to the control panel and system. You can see real quick. So it's got a whole 3 gigs of RAM in there. And it's a Xeon 3060 processor with a, I believe, I think a 120 gig drive in this. Let me see what I put in this. What's this? Oh, it's actually a 500 gig drive. What do you know? That's good. And what's good with this is that it actually has around the back, if we look, probably won't be able to hear me, but you actually have dual Ethernet, which can connect to the servers, as well as a couple USB ports there. So I can plug a USB and then send everything over to the server. And there's the VGA for the plug. You can see I've hacked this up. You can see around the back here how everything goes and connects together. And you probably can't actually hear me because it is quite loud around the back of this unit when everything is running on here. Alright, so here's a video of everything running. It's actually all working together perfectly after all of the work. We have done it. Here is the Proliant 7000 on the bottom with its 18 drives set up. Well, there's actually 17 drives because the first two are, these two are RAID 0. And then, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 drives for that. Now on the 8000, we have, each of these is set up as a RAID 0, so there's 2 drives in a RAID 0, 2 drives in a RAID 0, so there's 2 drives total on the 8000. And then on the storage system, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, another dozen drives. And now, if we go up here to the little PVM machine, we can go into this, network places, view workgroup computers. Here I am, the PVM machine. Here's the TA with, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 drives on there. Don't forget that 2 are in the RAID 0. Here's our OS drive. That's the number 17 drive. Then if we go back, we can go to 8500R. Then we have, again, count them again. These are the storage. Okay, so here we have the 2 RAID disks from the 8500R, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 drives from the storage system. All networked all together, and all of them are working. There's a lot of work, but it is really cool. I'm very happy with how it came out. All works together, and it works so nicely, and it just looks completely awesome.
I love it. There you go.